So now we've covered the 5 stages of organizational structures and where people individually fit, whether they're life sucks, my life sucks attitude, or that my life, I'm great or you're not, or the stage 4 where we're great and they're not, and the 5th stage where we're great and that's all that matters, in a healthy way. We're going to talk about some of the stages of 4 and 5 and how you get around that. But to know that stage 4 is hard to obtain, and not to take down that stage 3 is toxic. A lot of successful organizations operate it this way at stage 3. So ideally we want stage 4, but many good companies do operate with stage 3 or advanced stage 3 close to 4. And that's okay. It's stage 3 is helpful in establishing credibility for your individual self. It teaches you decision-making skills, and hopefully, you figure out how to work around different conflicts, and hopefully avoid the toxicity that exists in early stage 3 organizations that are not healthy, that are pretty vividly challenging to work with. So keep that in mind. Stage 3 isn't the worst. There are great companies, good companies that exist, but ideally we want stage 4. And stage 5 is that mission-based of happiness, complete happiness at the work environment, because there's something bigger at stake than just yourself and your group. Your tribe has become a component of something bigger, and that's amazing. So what are the results of being in a stage 4 and stage 5? How important is this? Ultimately, you're going to help improve collaboration because you're working towards something big. Collaboration is in itself invited and valued, and there's energy that you just don't expect to be anywhere else. You know this in your life when you've done sports or you've done other hobbies or activities where you've really worked with, you didn't put anybody else down around you. You just were so excited about working with the team you were with. That mattered more, and that's where you need to be. And those moments, I remember that when I was in high school marching band. We got off our competition, and there was this euphoric moment. We were also happy for each other because we had worked so hard, and there was not that much strife amongst each other. Especially that year, it was wonderful. Stress goes down, fear goes down. Will I lose my job? Will I be hated? Will I be let go? Or shoved aside? Does my input matter? That goes away. But for the most part, your stress is motivated. It's good. The good kind of stress. You're excited. People seek employment opportunities within the company because they don't need to go somewhere else. That's another promising result. You're winning the war on talent acquisition, and now, more than ever, where people are leaving their jobs left and right for better opportunities and have no attachment to their companies whatsoever, speaks volumes to what is happening in stage 3 and even in stage 4 organizations. So you want to minimize that, and that's by creating that engagement and advancement with each other and making people feel welcomed. So information sharing helps also with organizational learning, cross-functional learning. There's no more the magic hat and the rabbit. You guys are working together as a team to make sure everybody does well. This is important, given I know someone in a company where engineers don't share information with salespeople, and that's challenging. The salespeople want to help more, but the engineers feel like they have to hoard this information. That should go away. Health and well-being increases. You work sometimes later. You can also work earlier. You guys want to hang out with each other more. There's no hyper politicization of the work environment. There's no victimology, and nobody wants to make fun of someone or at someone else's expense or beat somebody at somebody else's expense. You have trust that you guys are there for each other. You can work it through. So people feel excited for the work. They feel excited for the people they're with, and that's where you want to be. That is ultimately the greatest environment. Becoming a tribal leader is challenging. How do you become a part of this? Many of you can have this path. Many of you will have different paths, specialization paths, manager paths. leadership paths in your careers, and that's great. But I think you should understand these leadership components and have an understanding of your role in it, should you become one or be a part of a bigger team. To become a tribal leader, you do not focus on changing ideas or gaining knowledge. You instead try to change the language and the relationships. So, if you're trying to change someone's idea, they're going to further entrench themselves. How often, do you see that in politics? I have to double down, even at the expense of the stupid idea itself. Or even if the idea is good, you are lacking, you have a vividness bias that you don't want to see other things. And that's sad, honestly. It takes your ability to learn new things. So a good manager or a good leader will focus on language, making sure that the language matters, that you're saying things that bring people together and focus on that new mission. And it's not about people. It's about actions. It's about processes. If there's something wrong, I don't blame someone. I try to find out if there's a process in the way. What's holding them up? Is it them, or is it something else? So, oftentimes you'll be surprised. It's probably just the process. And if you do that, you build champions. You can build good people around you. So the epiphany in stage 4 is getting into stage 4 is you start realizing you kind of have to go through many of these steps. The research shows that you should go through all the steps. I will share my different opinion on that in a second. But nothing that matters, you realize, is personal. When you're getting out of stage 3, you start realizing it's not about me. It's about the company. It's about the team. So a real good manager will make their subordinates shine. And then a good team will make their manager shine, because it's about that. And then everybody starts to look good. You're giving people this opportunity and a space to shine. So you realize that that's not the case, wins in stage 3 are just small. Oh, he pounded his chest at the meeting. That's tiny. Whatever. That doesn't affect me. That should not affect me. And I cannot let that get in the way. So I figure a way around that. So you start to realize a difference between leadership and manipulation. What that individual is doing is manipulation. And what I need to be focusing on is the leadership, not spreading gossip, not being mean to others. So, and then you realize in stage 3, it's also boring. This is stupid at some point. We should do more than this. We can do more than this. I need something more important to do. And that's common amongst people in my generation and younger, where they want things that are tasks that are built on values that are valuable to themselves personally. But you start seeing, hopefully, your actions through other people's eyes. You hopefully have this advanced mindset that other people's feelings matter and how they operate matter. You find a way for them to succeed as well as me. It doesn't take away from your self-respect because you're giving it as well. And that's important. You'll be surprised how much you could avoid in conflict at an organization by just thinking about what's happening to the other side, to the other individual, and not letting the small things get in the way, not letting the gossip spread. Let me realign that. That's, again, kind of out of the way. So, core values. Your core values is what matters here. And when I said in the first video, where you want to work at matters. You got to be happy. This could affect you for the next 5, 10, or 15 years. You don't want to be in an environment where you're not satisfied. And so you need to ask yourself, value-laden stories, or what are you most proud of? What matters to you? Or a situation that happened in your life and how you responded, or maybe something you learned prior helped you and it shaped your values even further. You need to think of this in open-ended ways, because you want to find others who share that value and unite them with you. And what's important here is always taking that higher road. So when you're around those that are bothering you, those that are wanting to pound their chest, do not eat into that. Be calm, reserved, and hold your emotional strengths together. Don't get angry. Angry is normal, but how you respond with your anger matters. And so you need to be better than that. Do not hold grudges or revenges. So you start acting well, and you do well for your boss, and you wonder, And then others might get jealous because you finally figured out your boss. And then they're like, well, oh, Craig's just, he's just feeding his ego. He's not helping the boss out. He's just making us look bad. And you start doing well for them, and you just keep that good value mindset by lifting everyone up. They will start liking you too. And what emerges is a leader over time because you took the better road. You figured out your boss. You found a way to navigate the world of being in between. And that takes time. And there's going to be a lot of challenges and experiences you might have to go through for that. But make sure you have a cause. What are you shooting for in your tribe? And making sure you help others see that. Find out what's working and what's not, and focus on that, and make things work better for everybody. There's a difference between an agreement and alignment. It's okay to have disagreements, to have different ideas, but you want to align each other's values so we have a better decision. So your goal is to create activities that express the values of the tribe and the cause that you're championing. How do you do this in networking? I think you should see yourself as a networking capacity because I had to build my network from scratch. My family's blue-collar workers. Nobody was out there to really show me the ropes. And even then, my college and my bachelor's program is not strong enough. So networking is important. Once you know your values, your current projects, and your aspirations of everybody around you, you might decide to hang out with them or leave them. You will decide which group you want to be in. But when you want to network and you're building your tribe, think of what Reid Hoffman says, theory of small gifts. It's the little things you give. Doing little things for others. We live in a world of giving and not taking. As long as you're giving without being taken advantage of, you will reap the reward. You will reap the rewards of long-term success in networking. Because people remember, he could do things. I got to go do something for him. For this individual, like on LinkedIn, they have giving recommendations, not just receiving. You can find something you find interesting on LinkedIn. Share it with somebody. I found this article about business practices. I want to share this with my friends, the people around me. Remembering somebody's birthday, saying happy birthday, or congratulating people's accomplishments, which in some cases isn't as rewarded in the academic field what it should be. And always form triads. Never see people as two. See people in groups of 3. And build your credibility. Credibility takes time. Always takes time. There are limitations of this model. They always say you have to go through every stage. And I disagree with that. I think, yes, you might have to be in a situation, your organization may have to go through each stage, but you individually do not have to. You can start building now the right partnerships in pairs of 3s, doing good things for people, and giving more. As you establish credibility, you learn to make your boss shine as you find your way, and hopefully that person will make you shine as well. Because ultimately a good boss will let somebody else take the limelight. You do not have to be this expert. Just learning to work with your college classmates will make a big difference. And know that credibility is something you build together, and that you don't hoard information. You build little trust shares to see who around you can share information with, and that information is work related or education related, not gossip. So do not gossip. It's a losing strategy. So gossip is the end of everything you can do. Even if you hear gossip about yourself, do not feed into it. So the next time, if you want to make a good organization, or you want to be that leader, the greatest place that you can start at, even if you're not in a stage 3, being a stage 5 or 4 organization, is when you go to get a coffee with someone, add a 3rd friend, invite a 3rd person. And that's a starting point for everybody. I really hope you guys take this to heart and find that there is more at stake here. Your careers and where you want to be and how you want to be happy matters. And it starts with this self-reflective part, knowing that you want to be a part of something bigger. But what is that? What is that? You have to determine. And not be afraid to make mistakes and learn to build on that. So on that note, enjoy these videos and good luck.